connection between Thanksgiving and the apocalypse. This information right here, people, is not for the faint of heart. This information right here, people, is only for those with a certain color of consciousness. And if you think by color, I mean race, then you don't have that color of consciousness. And I can guarantee that they're not giving you information like this anywhere else on TikTok about Thanksgiving. So make sure you share it out so people can get this information. There was a place in East Asia that you call Europe today. Here is the place where the white horseman of Revelation begun. This horseman of Revelation manifested right in Rome through the Roman Empire and a man named Constantine. It's deeper than that, and I got videos on that if you want them. But Constantine would co-opt the spiritual philosophy of a man named Yeshua. And then the Roman Empire will proclaim themselves as the first church, knowing that Yeshua said the temple of God is within. They then go even further to change the man's name. That's why you call him Jesus. And to change the man's image. That's why when you think of Christ, you don't think of a Middle Eastern brown man. And they use this new image to conquer the world. Constantine said that I had a vision, and it was a cross. And with this symbol, I shall conquer the world. And through this vision, which was true, the elites of the West, the elites of the Catholic Church, they would conquer the world. They would come in the name of Christ, but have the actions of the opposer, of the enemy, who you call Satan. If you want a deeper video on the Antichrist, go ahead and check out my playlist. They eventually decide what books you should read. They decide what letters you should read. They recreate the library of God, which was called the Biblos, which means the collection of books. And they take out books from that library and create a larger book that you call today the Bible. And they use this new tool to conquer the world. This happens over hundreds of years, by the way. Eventually, the Pope, who is truly a Roman emperor, decides to enslave anyone who is not under the rule, aka Christians. Anyone who doesn't consider themselves Christian is okay to enslave and rule according to them. Seek to conquer the world and create the new world. Now remember, to create a new world, the old world must end. And they genocide Native Americans, wiping out 90% to 95% of the population. They wiped out around 30% of the human population, starting the world apocalypse that humanity has forgotten. If you didn't know, the word Thanksgiving is in the Bible 40 times. The original feast was between a people who have already been decimated by the white horsemen, that's the Native Americans, and a group of Europeans who are attempting to separate themselves from the power of the white horsemen, the Roman Catholic Empire. Those were the pilgrims. The feast represented this new world and this agreement and peace. But what you must understand is that the influence, the spirit of the West, the Antichrist, the white horseman, the Roman Catholic Church is deeply embedded into the West and in the culture and traditions of the European settlers, the pilgrims. So what do? They eventually come to betray those same peoples, taking more of their land, inviting more of their people to take more of their land, going to war with them, completely betraying their trust. Besides, the damage was already done. The apocalypse had already started. The seal had already been broken. 90 to 95% of the Native Americans were decimated, and the earth retaliated by sending an ice age in the same direction that the Eastern Asians, the Europeans, came from. And there was a great ice age called the Little Ice Age in Asia. They don't teach you about that, fam. And this ice age caused a great famine. But that great famine was only a small sample of what was to come. And this was the beginning of the great apocalypse humanity forgot. So go ahead and celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm not telling you not to. Always take the opportunity to come with family, to be thankful for what you got, to eat. All that's fine. That's a part of humanity. But never forget the interconnectedness of the end of the world and Thanksgiving. And if you still don't understand what I'm talking about, there's playlists that explains what I'm talking about on my profile, and there's a book. There's a book that talks about all this, that goes in great detail, explains what I can't in a short video. This book will also free you from mortgages, rent, the matrix, the rat race. It teaches through stories, and the book is called FAMS, Food, Forest, Foraging, Hunting, Anti-Fragile Modern Society. The information is given to you through 3 stories, and it teaches you how to break free from mortgages, rent, this matrix you live in, how to live free, how humans are supposed to be living. It is groundbreaking, world-changing, and it is going to change the world. It's free. The audio version is free, and it's in the link at the top of the page. Get it now. I love you all. Peace.
Remember
symbols of Paris and all of Western civilization. It is still standing this morning after a fire that nearly destroyed it. Flames brought down the spire and much of the roof at Notre Dame Cathedral yesterday. And think about this, it's the start of...
What you probably don't remember is this ancient relic. This was supposedly on Jesus' head. That building that was on fire was this building here, the Notre Dame Cathedral. Before it was there, the French King Louis IX had a Sainte Chapel built in 1242 to house the relic that he brought to Paris. And this is what it looks like. Pretty big building. Probably like, well, how do we know that this is the actual crown that Jesus wore? That's not really the point. Listen to this. Eusebius, Life of Constantine. It was the crown of thorns woven by the Jews when they had crowned the Savior of the world in mockery, that had been preserved by pious care of some of his disciples, and was now brought to the emperor. Well, when was this done? 326 AD. That the emperor ordered, and here goes the order. Here goes the order. Let the most devout and holy quest be made by our command to seek out and bring to us the precious crown of thorns that was on the head of our Savior, and let it be placed in fitting place, the church of our God. Now, this is important because an emperor actually believed that disciples had preserved the crown of thorns. So whether this is the crown of thorns or not, nevertheless, there were disciples that existed in 326 to be having the relics of Jesus. Now, we don't know which disciples it was, as we don't have a chain of custody. But however, that same artifact is housed here, the Louvre Museum. So what do you take from this? Whether this is the actual crown of thorns or not, we take away that the disciples existed, Jesus existed, and the crown of thorns existed. Y'all support a brother. I want to go to Louvre Museum soon.